Okay, next up is Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and this is a tremendous entertainer starring Mr. Awkward himself, Michael Cera. Now again, I know people say he's a one-note entertainer, but again, if you have a shtick that works for you, stick to it. Don't fix it if it ain't broken. And he does it in so many different kinds of movies, and he really does it well here. This is just a zany, whacked-out, original, fun time at the movies if you're a fan of video games, or just enjoying some good old-fashioned, you know, fun stuff on TV that you see on TV. You get it in a movie here with some pretty good actors. Michael Cera, of course, plays Scott Pilgrim, the title character, and he, of course, falls for this hip, you know, delivery girl who has this great, outrageous sense of being. Her name is Ramona, and she is played very well, I might add, by a relative newcomer, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Now, I gotta say about this film is that there's nothing that, you know, you can take from other films and put into this. There's some ideas obviously borrowed, but the whole aspect of the whole video game thing just added to it. It may seem a little ridiculous on the surface, but this is the type of movie it is. It's a fantasy. It's not real. You know, it's not trying to pass itself off as real. This is what happens when you take a concept and you know, take elements from other films or borrowed ideas or whatever, and you make it work. In this case, Scott Pilgrim, to win Ramona, has to not just fight, defeat all her 7 evil exes. And it is just such a fun time. The exes themselves, they're hit or miss in terms of character, you know, enhancement or development. And some of them are interesting, some of them are just passable. But the thing about them is, the thing about having 7 different exes, while some have more screen time than others, you know, it still bounces back and forth, and we get many interesting characters. Also, a nice little performance from Oscar nominee Anna Kendrick, who I just loved last year in Up in the Air. She is really good here as Scott's sister, and she has some really nice scenes here in this film too. Now the thing about this movie is supposed to be just kind of like a modern society, you know, modern society meets, you know, the idealism of entertainment about what some teens and what everybody, you know, in general seeks for attention, like seeks for attention entertainment, like video games, like battles, like fighting, you know, and just like being a regular person. Like Michael Cera can play very well. Yes, he plays awkward very well, but he's also seems like just some guy you could meet in high school. I actually met a couple people who went to high school with him and say he's a very awkward guy. Anyway, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is a very entertaining film, and it's one of the summer's biggest surprises. I wasn't expecting very much from looking at the trailers, but it surprised me. So I give Scott Pilgrim vs. the World 3.5 stars out of 5.